Built by rejection, how pain made me a savage. Welcome to episode 16 of the Savage Podcast. Listen to this at 1.5 or 2x speed to get through the information faster. Listen to my story and stick with me to the end here. So, I'm going to go over how I got into my fitness and health journey because I was bullied physically and verbally for being overweight. I was rejected by a girl, and that really is what got me into personal development and fitness and health. So I was bullied all through elementary school, all through high school, or no, all elementary school, middle school for being overweight, for being chubby, having man boobs, love handles, being 30, 40 pounds overweight. I was thrown in the ground, kicked in the stomach. I remember two vivid moments. One, I was, I think, first or second grade. It was wintertime and two kids were bullying me, pushing me back and forth and saying, and I was pushing them back, right? And because I'm bigger, I'm 40 pounds heavier than them. I am chubby. And they're like, "Oh, you're fat, da 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 da." And then they, trip me and throw me on the ground. There's two of them and kick me in the stomach. And I was like, kind of got depressed like a little beta, right? But, I'm 10 or 12, 11, 12 years old, right? And so I just stayed out there. I'm in Spokane, Washington. Shout out Spokane, Washington, East Washington, Washington State. And I just stayed out there in the winter, like 3 feet of snow and past recess, right? That's why I have this background for you guys, past recess. And, the school teachers and whoever came and, had to go look for me. It was like the whole school staff for like 30 minutes to find me, like buried in snow, just being depressed and being like, man, I hate life. And then there's a second moment of me being bullied, just playing basketball. I'm a basketball superstar. I love basketball, basketball, basketball. This is like third, fourth grade, maybe fifth grade, and I'm shooting hoops on recess. And I remember, kids call me fat, like, "Oh yeah, but you're fat, you're fat, you're fat." So it was mainly verbal abuse, honestly, more than physical abuse. But I was bullied physically and verbally all through middle school, elementary school. And so anyway, when I was roughly in fifth or sixth grade, I asked a girl out. Right. And her name was Mariah. My mother's name is Mariah. My mom's name is Mariah. This girl's name is Mariah. And this is the first girl ever I asked out. And I said, "Hey, blah, 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 whatever, you want to hang out sometime or go out or whatever, just young, middle school." And she rejected me. "Oh, no, I'm not interested, da, 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 da." And then anyway, she ended up telling the whole school the next day it was because I was fat and overweight. And this is right before summertime. And so I decided like I'm like, I need to stop this. I'm like, this is bull crap. I'm gonna, overcome this. And so that's when I started obsessing about fitness and nutrition and working out and playing basketball. I started playing basketball 4, 6, 8 hours a day, running laps around the block. Again, this is when I lived in Spokane at like 13, 14 years old. Ran, around the block, did hundreds of push-ups, chin-ups, dumbbell curls, bench press, and I dropped 30, 40 pounds in 3 months, at 12, 13, 14 years old. And I grew like 4 or 5 inches that summer. So I went from like 5'3" to like 5'7". Anyways, I went back the next year and then I was bullied for being too skinny, ironic, right? I was bullied for being too skinny. They're, "Oh, you're skinny. Oh, you lost so much weight." And so again, I was so super obsessed about basketball, 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 but I became super hyper focused on becoming obsessive about fitness, 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 watching hundreds of hours of YouTube videos like Mike Chain and I was listening to a lot of Eminem and 50 Cent rap music, from my influence from my gangster dad. My dad was a gangster, white gangster in Southern California in the 90s, Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, right? So he influenced me a lot to listen to music. I didn't grow up with my father fatherless. My father lives in Nevada. So I only see him like 1 month out of the year. But anyway, he influenced me I was listening to a lot of Eminem, Eminem fan. Anyway, so I was playing a lot of basketball and I became obsessed about fitness and working out. So around 14, became 13, 14, got really into weightlifting. By the time I was 15, I think I could squat. I box squatted 405 freshman year in high school, right? And then so by the time I was like 16, I was the strongest person in my high school. I could deadlift 405, squat, I think 380, like normal squat, box squat 405 plus. I think I benched two plates, I think first time 225 when I was 15 or 16. So anyway, if you guys, this is how I went from average to savage is like turn your pain into purpose. Again, pain into purpose, because that pain got me to where I'm at now. And like that's why I told my mama, this was like 3 years after this bullied, girl rejected me. I was like 13 or so. To 16, my mom asked me, "What are you gonna do when you grow up?" And I told her, "I'm gonna be a fitness YouTuber. I'm gonna be a fitness YouTuber, mama." And so anyway, turn your pain into your purpose. All right. Because and then I went from that to, growing up without my father, all this other stuff into my journey. Because, I would only see my dad maybe 2 weeks there, maybe on Christmas. But a lot of times it was just 1 month during the summertime. I would, grew up in Spokane, Washington, Spokane, shout out Spokane, Washington. And I would go to, like Reno, Nevada, Reno, Tahoe, that North Nevada area, Minden, Garnerville, Carson City. And I would go down there every summer. And then at 16, I'm like, hey, I want to live a bigger life, da da da, more opportunity. I want to experience living with my dad. I believe every young man, once they hit puberty, at 12, 13, whatever, they have a call to adventure, a call to becoming a man, right? And so I wanted to live with my father. So I moved there at 16 years old. And my dad wasn't as a bachelor, an alcoholic, and wasn't, my dad has a lot of great traits. He taught me hard work. He taught me, Bondo, like body cosmetics for furniture and classic cars. That was my dad's career path before now he's homeless. He's been homeless for 4 years. But anyway, I lived with my dad 16, 17, 18. So like 2.5 years in that Carson City, Nevada. I graduated from Carson City, Nevada. And anyway, I graduated high school. But being influenced, that's when I got into drugs. I did a lot of psychedelics, drank a lot of alcohol, smoked a lot of weed, sold weed, a lot of weed, got into a lot of bad stuff. But anyways, that pain became my purpose because my father not being around is one of the reasons I got really into coaching and mentorship and like looking up to mentors and all and being growth minded, reading hundreds of books, investing over $100,000 into mentorship. And it led to a lot of me seeking developing myself because I didn't necessarily get that from my father, right? So it made me want to go seek out growth, right? And also it made me develop as a man sooner. That's when I moved from Nevada to California. I lived on my own in San Jose. I actually was homeless in Los Angeles, and then I moved to San Jose, and that's where I became a personal trainer. Again, pain into purpose because I was getting my real estate license, but I got burnt out because I didn't have the passion, the interest, the why, the drive to make real estate happen, get my real estate license. And so I became a certified personal trainer through NASM. And then I started personal training in San Jose, the Bay Area, at 18, 19 years old. So, anyway, guys, the whole purpose of this podcast is to share a little bit about my story about being bullied as a kid, physically and verbally, and getting rejected by a girl. And that set me into my fitness and health journey, right? And just within a short, span, 5 years after that, I was a professional, a personal trainer at a gym. I think I coached 30 in-person clients ranging from 15-year-old kids to 60-year-old women and men. And I trained some 25-year-old dudes, some 15-year-old kids, women and men, or boys and girls, 15. I trained some middle-aged men and women as well. So anyway, turned my pain into my purpose. So anyway, guys, that's the podcast. If you're interested in losing body fat, getting abs, building muscle, leveling up your mindset, your habits, becoming the 2.0 sexy, confident, savage version of yourself, you guys can click the link below to schedule a call with me or apply for one of my Savage programs, Savage Tribe, Savage Training, or Savage Mentorship, or message me at Devin Cripe, Devin Cripe, Devin Cripe on Facebook or Instagram. Other than that, please like. YouTube's all about the algorithm, so please like the video. Drop in the comments your main takeaway. If you have a similar story, drop in the comments below and share. Don't keep this to yourself. Share with other people who can get inspired by this story. Please share. All right, guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. God bless you. Average is the enemy and savage is the new standard. Average is the enemy and savage is the new standard. So Savage Nation, Savage Tribe, we're out. God bless you. I love you. Much love. Let's go.